Hello, my friends. It's me, Karen Valentine, back for part 4 of Women of Flowers number 53 by Grazia, Salvo. And today we are going to work on the little bit of background that there is and her shirt. And I accidentally, okay, so this is just a little scan. It's kind of washed out. My scanner does not, even though it prints fine, it doesn't scan very well as far as the colors of the colored pictures. And I think it's because the bright light that goes across the scanner bounces off the wax and makes it kind of faded out. But anyway, I made a little copy of it so that I could play around with what I was going to do for shadows and colors and things like that for the next video. And I accidentally colored this part of her shirt on the wrong picture. So I used the actual picture to test a color on the shirt instead of the test picture because I'm a big dork. So, that being said, we're going to go with the color that I tested, and that would be Blue Lake, Prismacolor Blue Lake. I wanted to do the same color family as the purples. Let's see, we want to go this way. I wanted to do the same color family as the purples, but not do purple. So these blues seemed to make sense to me, and it's kind of it's a good purple. It's a good blue to go with the purples that we picked so far. It's not too green or it's kind of it's not really a purpley blue, but it was a nice blue, so I'm okay with the color. And then I think we're going to use China blue and indigo blue for the shadows for the darker areas. So let me pull out my white as well. So we're going to do her shirt first, and maybe even this part of the background before I attempt to do the shadows on her. It scares me, I'll be honest. The shadows scare me a little bit. I'm always afraid I'm going to mess them up, especially after I've put down quite a few layers of color on the for the skin. I'm not sure how the pencil is going to take on top of her skin, but we're going to give it a go. So I've already laid down the color here on the this side of her shirt. So I guess you can just pause the video and color it in, and then come back and join me when you're about where we're at. I do want to do this side first though, because I really never got around to actually testing what I was going to do. So I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that my choices are good choices. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and bring the picture up. How's that? Looks good. And then I'm going to take some of this China blue, and that's after we've colored it in with the Blue Lake, and try and start adding in some of the shadows of the shirt. So let's give that a go and see how it looks. Is that the right color? I don't know if I want to use China blue. It might be too... Okay, scratch the China blue for a second. Let's try this indigo blue. I just don't know. I want it to be a darker version of what's on here, but that doesn't look right. Okay, so I'm just using my little, I think it's a Tombow Mono Eraser. It's a nice little skinny eraser, and it gives me more control than the electric, which is a superpower machine. Okay, so let's figure out what we're going to do here. Maybe I do gray instead of blue. So let me try some 50% cool gray and see if I like that better. Yep, I think I'm going to like that better. So in the description box, when I do this, I'm going to write, do not use these colors. Okay. That's a little better. And do I want a darker one as well? I just might. So let's try nope, not warm. Cool. What do I have here? Let's try the 90% cool. I don't know if I want it to be as, there we go. It's just a little bit darker there. And then let's see if we can do some white. Make sure my pencil's clean. Do some white. All right, well, we'll go with that for now. So I'm going to, on this side, go ahead and put some of this white down already, just a touch. And then we'll go ahead and use the Blue Lake. So the last video, I was so frustrated in making the last video. And you could probably, if you watched it all the way through, you could probably see that there were some terrible edits in it. Repeating myself and just crazy weird stuff. So I'm gonna chalk that up to learning my new phone. So basically what happened was after I filmed and I was looking at the footage in iPhoto, I noticed that there was the ability to edit movies in iPhoto in the iPhone 11, which I have never had that ability before. The other phone that I had before this one was a 7 Plus, and it did not have that ability. So the recordings that I did, what you saw was what you got, and that was fine. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I got really excited about the fact that I could edit the movies before I loaded them into iMovie to edit, because the iMovie on my phone doesn't have the ability to edit color and stuff like that in the video. So I was looking at the footage and I was comparing it to the actual image. And I don't know if it was because of the time of day that I filmed. You know, I'm still learning all of that stuff. But I thought that the footage looked a little bit warm, that the picture looked a little bit warm compared to what it would be in natural light. And so I in iPhoto, I cooled down. I used the little slider thingies and I edited each clip, and I cooled it down so that it looked more like it was in natural light and it looked more like what the picture actually looked like. And I was so excited. Well, that was the beginning of all my problems, because when I put the clips into iMovie to edit, there were problems. The clips would go black, and I couldn't see what I was doing. I couldn't do things. It was wrong. It was just bad. So I went back into iPhoto, and I reverted the footage all back to the original. Okay, I need my electric razor. I made a boo-boo because I didn't clean my eraser like I'm supposed to. All right, we'll go back to that. So I put the footage all back to the original, the way it was originally, and I loaded it back into iMovie. Well, somewhere along in that process, the footage, the original footage, something in there must have been changed, and changed permanently, so that iMovie couldn't read it the way it normally would. And I had problems editing that footage continuously through the process. So I finally got to the point, after trying to edit it and fix it all day practically. You'll notice that the video got loaded up in the evening. It's because it took me all day to try and get it ready and fix it. So I did the best I could with the footage not behaving properly and continuing to fight me and give me problems, and I didn't want to have to scrap the whole thing. So I just did the best I could and got it out there, and figured you guys would rather have a crappy edited video than no video at all. So anyway, that's my story. That's the story of me learning how to use my iPhone. Don't edit footage in iPhoto before you put it into iMovie. It's a bad idea. So needless to say, I will not be doing that on this one. Okay, so I'm going to use my Caran d'Ache blender and just blend and smooth out this color here. Okay, and then I'm going to take 50% cool gray. %, cool gray. Okay. Yeah, see, I wish I would have put, I wonder if we can erase. I wonder if it's too late to erase some of this, because I really like how it pops and stands out here, but it really doesn't over here. And that's because I was only testing my color. I wasn't actually trying to make it look good. I just did it on the wrong page. So we'll try the Tombow. Let's see if I can get it. I shouldn't have put white on top. I just added too much. Well, it's lightening up a bit, so maybe we'll be okay. That's probably enough. Okay, and then I'm going to come in and bring the Blue Lake back in. Not necessarily on top of the white that I just put on, but just kind of beside it. I can blend it out. It's better. I think probably just the 90% cool gray. Just a little bit. I mean, there's not a whole lot of detail in this shirt, so I don't know how much I can actually do to make it look, you know, very interesting. I think the shirt is probably a secondary player in this piece anyway, so we'll go like that. Call it good. What do you think? Just putting in a couple of folds in the shirt. That's probably okay. All right, so let's zoom back out and figure out what color we want to do behind her. So we can go with, you know, a blue sky if we want, I suppose. And that's probably the most logical thing. I'm going to break out my color chart here. The color I use quite often for sky is sky blue light, but I kind of feel like that's too light and actually maybe too, I don't know if green is the right word, but you see how it kind of looks green when you compare it to this blue. So I think we need to go with a, maybe like this powder blue for the sky. What do we think? Let me zoom in. Powder blue for the sky. We're just gonna go for it. It's kind of what it's gonna do. I mean, it's not, what did we use for her shirt? Blue Lake. So it's lighter than Blue Lake. And it'll give us some blue at the bottom and some blue at the top. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Powder blue. And hopefully we like it. Okay, I have a smudge here on my paper and I'm not sure what that's from. So I'm gonna see if my eraser will take care of that. Just cleaning it off a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah, that helped a lot, didn't it? All right, well, while we're at it, let's see if we can take care of this. I'm gonna probably put a border around the whole thing so it's not a disaster. But boy, does that frustrate me when I plan on leaving a border white. Okay, where were we? Powder blue. Is that the right color? I'm going to double check, you guys, because powder blue. Yep. All right, we're going to give it a go and see what happens. So as always, your best results are going to happen when you use small circular motions instead of straight back and forth. And I think I can tell I'm going to like it already, so yay. How about if we zoom in a little bit more? How's that? You know how when you watch back video of yourself or you listen to your voice or whatever, you're always so hypercritical of yourself. So of course I always have to kind of listen and watch back the video so that I can edit it and stuff like that. And I've talked about this before. There's this one habit that I have that I can't break, that I feel like I should apologize to you guys for, besides not getting the picture in frame. And I noticed how often I sniffle on camera. And unfortunately, it can't be helped because this is allergy season here in Arizona, big time. I kind of always have hay fever all year, but before it gets too hot, the spring, before the heat kills off every living thing in the desert, that's when the allergy season is the worst. And so I'm not sick. I don't, it's just allergies and it can't be helped. So I hope it's not too terribly annoying for you guys. Oh, I like that color. I think it complements what we've got going on really, really well. I'm going to go back, rather than blending with white, which I still may do, I'm not sure, but I'm going to go back and do another coat of this color and see if we can't get this smooth and blended without using a blending pencil. That's one nice thing about using light colors, is quite often you don't have to use a blending pencil because they blend so nicely on their own. Okay, let's do the other side. It's funny how when I'm working, as I get closer and closer to finishing, I keep finding little things that need to be, that I left out, that I left off the page that need to be finished. A little bit of hair right there that didn't have any color on it. I'm pretty sure there's something over on the other side of the page that I didn't get color on either. Okay, just gonna go over it again real quick. Alrighty. I like it. I hope you can see I know I have a shadow from my tripod, but I like it. I like the colors. Okay, so we have to decide what we're gonna do on the outer edge, and I think we'll probably do that and then blend with mineral spirits for that one, I think. Oh, I guess we should, let's tackle the shadows. Oh, they make me so nervous. Okay, so I think I want to use, and I hope I'm right, I think I want to use warm gray for this one. And so here's my little test page. So you can see basically what we're doing is we're drawing the flower just as it is, only shifting it over, like over and down, because if the sun was coming from up here, the shadow would be, you know, would be over on this direction and down a little ways. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to try and follow the lines, and I'm not promising that I'm going to get everything right, because I'm not an expert. I'm just a girl with some coloring pencils trying to make a pretty picture. So yeah, so here we go. We're just going to jump in and try and do it. And I am thinking, I don't want to be zoomed in too much. Let's just go with that, I think. All right, I'm going to do the stems first. So here we go. I'm using a light touch. And I'm going to follow this big stem here first. And so now we would come, it would be here, and it's going to be lower. Okay, so that would mean that the shadow for, well, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so flower shadows. It's probably not going to be very accurate, but we're going to call that good on that one. Okay, I'm going to come and do that leaf later. So this gets some shadow and the leaf here. And everything is coming further away, so it would make sense that this would be here. I'm not sure how the divot in her neck would really affect the shadow, so we'll just pretend that it doesn't. And we're not going to do any on her. I don't know what to do with her chin, so I'm not going to do anything there. And that needs to be blended or something. It looks a little not smooth. Okay. Okay, so this is the shadow for this leaf. that's okay. And then this gets like these weird little leaf things. This isn't thick enough, so thicken that up. And then this has some shadow right there. Do that. Okay, so if the sun is coming from down this direction, on these things it would cast it here, but on this, it's almost like, I don't know, I don't see it being very, I don't think it would be down here. And like on this one, the shadow's not going to be up here. Wouldn't it be down here? That's how I'm going to do it. But I don't know if that's right, because then that would make the shadows wider. Oh, goodness. I just don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is. So I'm going to, this is the split for this one. Right? I'm getting confused. I'm confusing myself. This is the split for this one. So the leaves would start, the leaves are going to, well, like I said, I don't know that it's going to be right, because I will admit this is one of those things that I have not done a lot of, and it makes me nervous. So it will be what it will be. Just gonna go with it. And so does that make the shadow? I almost think that what it does is it's going to put it just really, really close. I guess that's something I need to learn how to do better, huh? Well, it doesn't stand out to me as looking terrible. So that's good. And I'm not sure how much, I guess we'll still put it in her hair. I guess they would still cast shadows. Well, maybe somebody can, I don't know, if you know of a video that will direct me to the proper way to figure out where shadows go, by all means, please tell me. missing here. They're not showing up very well on the shirt. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. Jeez Louise. I told you I was going to get better at that. Okay, so they're not showing up very well on the shirt. I guess I could use a darker color, but I don't know, it doesn't bother me too much. And this one, I kind of already, I think, played around with some shadows using brown. Maybe that's what I need to do, is do brown on her hair instead of, because I like the way these turned out. Oh, what do we think? Should I try some espresso as a shadow on her hair? I'm afraid, because I'd be going against, the shadow would be going against the, all right, I'm diving in, we're doing it. I'm always afraid to ruin a picture. Okay, I like the brown as the shadow on her hair. Seems to work pretty well. Okay, that's it. I'm zooming out. I can't even. I think this one needs some. That works. I wonder if I should do that on these too. Oh, this leaf here. This guy needs some. Okay, let's see. This is not going to be so easy because I really, to make it look right, I have to follow what the leaf actually looks like, and I don't know if I can do that. would imagine that a better way to do this, if you know you're going to put shadows in, is to do them as you're doing the skin. You know, maybe put the shadows in first and do the skin around the shadows. I don't know. I'll have to play around with that and see if that's a good method. But it worked out okay. It's not perfect, but I think it's acceptable. Okay, let's zoom a little bit. So this is where we're at. I am thinking maybe I should do some brown shadows up here, which I kind of already did, it looks like. Yep, I kind of already did. So we're just going to go with that for there. And I think that's it. All right. I'm going to call that maybe not good, but good enough. And I will, let's see, we have to figure out what we're going to do for the background on the outside. Okay, so I'm not sure. Sometimes these decisions are really hard. Okay, so I want to stay with the colors, the color scheme that we've got going, which is the blues and purples. And some blues are just not right. We could do violet, but part of me is wondering what it would look like with a really dark color on the outside edge. But now I'm having second thoughts about that too. Violet was the color that we used on the inside of the flower. Now these flowers here might slightly disappear on the purple background if we do it, but these are kind of bluish enough that I think they'll be okay. Violet. Or we just leave it white. We can always do that. And maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just do a border around her and leave it white. I'm kind of leaning towards that. I'm wondering if we did like a purple marker border. I like that idea. I do. I like that idea because I'm afraid if we do a dark color, it's just going to take away from what we, she's so pretty as she is. So, okay, well, that decision, we got there eventually. So I am going to go get my Arteza fine line markers and a ruler. And I think that's what we're going to try. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Now, you can use any fine line markers that you have, or you could even use colored pencil. You don't have to use marker if you don't want to. But I do want to, these are the only coloring supplies that I have that I didn't actually swatch out, which seems kind of silly. So I'm just going to do it here to kind of see what the color is. That looks like that might be the winner right there. Yeah, that might be the color. Let's see. There's a lighter color here. I think I want to go with the darker one. So that would be this one, which is the Arteza A136. And I think that's the color that I want to use. So again, you can use any marker that you have that you like. And I'm hoping that I know I'm always so paranoid about messing stuff up on camera. I really need to just let it go. Okay, unfortunately, all of my rulers, I need new rulers. All my rulers are, have little nicks and stuff in them, which causes mishaps with markers and pencils and everything. So all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my pen down in the corner and then bring my marker to it, and if we my ruler to it, and if we have to make it a little bit thicker, so be it. Okay, place the pen where I want the corner and then bring the ruler to it. You see, well, you can see the general idea of what I'm doing here. Now, this is a really thin line, so I'm not sure if I want to do another one and fill it in to make it wider or not. I think in order to make it look like it is anything at all, we're going to have to make it thicker. It's just not This is really light, so I'm just going to try to go over it a little bit. But it's so thin. Yeah, see, now I messed it up. Okay, so I am going to make it a little bit wider. And how do I want to do that is, I want to go, I think I'm going to want to see the line. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And then, I hope this is right. All right, guys. I'm just gonna yeah, the thicker line is definitely the way to go. Now you can avoid all this work if you have a nice thick marker, like maybe a big thick Sharpie. Okay, we're only gonna have to do this 3 more times. Okay, so I want to go from the outside and just kind of eyeball it so that it is straight. I'm afraid I went too far out up there, but I don't want to make the line a lot thicker than what we've already done, so we may just have to have a boo-boo, or maybe we can try and hide it with some white Posca pen if we get lucky. Okay, let's fill it in. These fine liners are great for tiny detail work on your page, especially if you're working with Prismas and you know how soft they are and how they don't, sometimes it's really hard to get the teeniest, tiniest little details, or to fill in tiny little spots. That's what I bought them for originally, was to make it easier to fill in little teeny areas, and they've been great. I really like having a set of fine liners in my supplies. Okay, one more. We will be finished with this page. This page had a lot of highs and lows in it for me. All right. Yeah, I'm glad I made that decision. I like it. I like it actually with the white border and the purple divider. So, yay. Well, my friends, I would say she is finished. Yep, and even though the shadows aren't perfect, I would say they are okay. So I hope you had a good time. I always do. This is like my favorite thing to do lately. It's all I think about is what I'm going to color next and what I want to show you guys. And thank you so very much for all your lovely comments and your encouraging words, both on Facebook and here on YouTube. You guys are you're just the best. And I'm so very grateful for you all. That is it. We are finished with her, and I have nothing else to say. So, if you are, if you're watching my channel and this video for the first time, please check out some of the other videos that I have to offer. And as always, if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. All right, you guys, take care of yourself. And have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.